Alright, welcome back to the Navi campaign of James Cameron's Avatar the Game for HD.
The next song waits. Dahi Sanume favors you. She sees what you may become.
Why do they capitalize the S and C's?
I'm just someone who gathers
Don't know.
swords. Back home we call that a
Oh.
You hear the songs of
Again, some of the dialogue from our protagonist is just not cheating. Also, hi NPC.
It is pretty neat how you can customize the look of your protagonist, though.
It depends. Well, like you mentioned in a couple of the previous parts, Jova, it's more just because it's tied to your level. Each time you level up, you gain a different kind of armor.
Oh,
you know,
so it's automatic.
it's automatic. You can actually get back to the older ones, but keep in mind the stats lower as well accordingly. So it's more of a case of you if you want to keep the better stats, you have to keep the look that armor has. It's not like say in an MMO where you can actually use a gleam to actually change the appearance of the armor into something you're more familiar with.
I guess it's to show the character's progressing, though. Am I the one who finds it funny that every time he goes to a different tribe, he just happens to now don the same armor as them? Like, I mean, I get it. The story probably doesn't acknowledge that, but it's kind of funny from a perspective when you think about it.
Alright, if I recall correctly,
The warriors here know
yeah, this is actually a land where it's right in conflict, like in open conflict with the humans, so it's gonna be mostly a battlefield throughout.
Beyda'amo does not see your
Okay.
calls, but I know he is here. He enjoys crushing skulls of many Tortut.
I'll keep an eye out for him.
When you have all shards, we meet at Floating
I swear,
Rock.
the voice actor for
You know
our
what?
protagonist sounds so similar
Andre,
to a lot of the
I think
voices
I
I've
think
heard.
I mentioned, yeah, I did mention who he was, but let me get it again just to be known. Again, audience, be patient about it. This particular run took a bit while to record, but let me check. I can tell you this in the meantime. Oh no.
Negega, Able Ryder, a good omen. The sky people attack. Trap us.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
You want to keep up the pace there, bud?
Sure. I can tell this mental note. One entry that I will definitely look into it is one about anything that explains about the floating island, since that was a point of discussion for the movie.
Okay, not counting any potential future pandemic mandated delays. As of right now, the biggest competition Avatar 2 is going to get at the box office, as in it's released on the same day, is Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2 is probably gonna destroy Avatar a lot.
Which is
I
which
wonder
is
whether the Super Mario movie is also about to come up around the same time. I wonder if that one
Okay.
actually will have the
It's like
better box office.
It's like 5 days or so. Well, that's the thing though. Both films have at least one thing that could potentially hold it back. Avatar 2 has the whole vibe of no one really caring about it, not to mention the huge sequel gap in between. But Aquaman 2 also has Amber Heard.
Yeah.
And from what I read from the synopsis, she's actually more involved with the plot. So hooray!
And yet, when
Yay.
she was called out, the studio said, no, we can't possibly do this without her. Like, what a load.
Anyway,
Sorry,
Hell, Christopher Nolan recast Rachel in The Dark Knight just because a few people thought Katie Holmes looked too young, even though I thought she looked fine, to be honest with you.
so what
Anyway,
happened with the casting of Talia?
Ooh.
It's its own can of worms, too.
I know.
Yeah,
it was mostly cheap baiting, so please ignore me.
Anyway, though, in regards to the Super Mario movie, though, okay, well, I'll be fair, we still need to see a bit more of that to gauge it. Let me put it like this. If that movie gets a trailer that actually looks like it's going to be pretty good, then who knows? Maybe it might hold a good shot.
You have to
However-
remember, Jova, Super Mario is exactly like Spider-Man. It sells on brand name alone, and Illumination made a point to actually to sell even with the most cardboard deadpan premises.
That
You know
being,
who I
that being
It's
said, though, if the trailers tell a pretty bad story, that could either doom or in a weird way help that movie.
Because of hate watching, yes.
like you know who I feel a bit sorry for in regards to the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing has been kind of caught in the middle.
Johnny Depp?
Well, not well. I mean, I said caught in the middle as well as Mads Mikkelsen.
Uh,
Since I mean the guy could put on putting aside my own feelings on Johnny Depp as playing Grindelwald, Mads Mikkelsen could put on the best performance of the whole movie, and people are still gonna okay, to be fair, I haven't seen many people slag off Mads Mikkelsen just because he replaced Johnny Depp so much as
No, they
say
said that because of the current state of franchise into the J.K. Rowling instead.
Okay. Give the public credit. They knew not to attack Mads Mikkelsen. They knew to go after, well, the head honchos of that franchise. And man, the more that Amber Heard's case is starting to turn against her, the more that Warner Brothers is looking utterly stupid. I mean, they were stupid.
Alright, this particular group requires us to actually find one Navi that has been lost. Apparently just talking to them makes me gain experience and level up. But let me explain. Oh, speaking of getting new armor.
Huh.
There we go. Anyway, let me talk about this. I found the male able Ryder gets voiced by Chris Edgarly, while the female, the female character gets voiced by Audrey Vasilevsky instead. Both of them are good voice actors, so perfectly serviceable. In general, like I said, the voice acting is serviceable. It's just the potential, the fact that they had to put up accents for a Navi, which for modern day standards might be outdated. But that's pretty much it.
They're getting ready. When they find that old well of souls, they're gonna move in hard. We gotta stay focused. Gather the songs and find the location. If Falco's found it already. Okay, I can't think that way.
Okay, I have to question what the same thing that we've asked the previous parts, I think. How is Able Ryder, being able to record these now that he doesn't really have much of a tech anymore?
Well, you see, Tio. I'm going to base my answer to that based off the logic of this entire franchise that we've seen so far.
Look at the Wikipedia.
No, my answer was going to be shut up.
Oh.
Huh? That's... Okay. Look, this franchise has problems, but it doesn't... One of its problems is not the whole trying to cop out of answering. They do technically provide answers to most of, the lore and details of this universe. Vast as it is.
Anyway, as you noticed, I jump cut because, again, like I mentioned, these particular levels starts to involve a lot of backtracking, going back and forth between locations. So for everyone's convenience, I'm just trimming all the fat away.
But yeah, to bring it back to the whole Super Mario Brothers movie thing, okay, so some critiques people have about people going to watch something to critique it. I've always sounded a bit of a silly cycle when people go, oh, well, you can't judge something until you've seen or played it. Person sees or plays it. Well, you're part of the problem for seeing or playing it. Like, what do you expect of people?
Watch it without actually paying for it?
Well, yeah, but how does that apply to playing it? And okay, to be fair, yes, there are a lot of ways to watch something without paying for it, but they're not always as easy to come by. Granted,
maybe, but I do believe they do exist. There are actually ways for, having the person being in control and not the corporation.
Well, yes, of course there are, if you get the pirate hats out and all that, but some people don't like to.
In this day and age, Jova, I do believe that kind of morality is very, very outdated.
Oh, Tio, trust me, the abundance of streaming services has already started a new golden age of piracy, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
The stories to tell our grandkids will be very vast and whatnot. But, okay, to the person who wants to do it legally, I do get the struggle. I mean, yes, the answer is obvious, but I can understand if somebody doesn't want to do it. So that being said... That being said, though, when it comes to the Mario Brothers movie, it frustrates me because they could have easily have had a better thing. And I know what some people are gonna say. Well, Sing 2 actually turned out to be a surprise hit. Well, look, I'll just say this. I consider Sing 2 to be more the exception than the rule when it comes to Illumination films.
Yeah,
And also,
I
Sing
mean,
literally
if you
plays.
if you keep throwing shit at the wall, eventually one of the turds will
It's
stick.
not even that. The Sing is basically on autopilot anyway. Expecting it to be at least decent is the bare minimum.
I'm actually talking
But,
about Sing 2. Apparently, Sing 2
Yeah.
was...
In general, it's basically the more of the same, just in a good format. But that's basically it, because Sing is literally just that: a very simple plot amidst basically covers of popular songs that everybody knows.
True.
But go ahead, Pedro.
No, nothing. No, it's not, like.
Also, what with the lighting?
Well,
This
to be
is not
fair,
this is
to be
not
fair-
Apocalypse Now.
To be fair, he's under a big plant. That's
The shadow, supposedly, yes, but
I guess the matter is like, well, he's so close to us that it seems weird that our protagonist isn't in that same shadow unless there's a very, very thick branch right above.
again, this is not Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, speaking of Apocalypse Now, I watched the can't remember if it was the extended version or not, but I did watch that film for my for like the film studies little mini course in university.
Yeah, that's one of the movies that gets used. Citizen Kane. Those.
Yeah, funny, actually, at least in our case, we didn't use Citizen Kane.
Well, it's a mini course. If it was like something like a proper film school,
we only had so many to pick, and well, unfortunately, another film we had to watch was Fahrenheit 9/11.
But no, like in the meantime, I'm still on the look for potential games of this generation to get. And off commentary, they recommended me the Dead Space trilogy, and from what I'm seeing here on Steam, yeah, like
Because
all
I saw Mandalore Gaming's review. Those are the PC version, and he manages to make them run at 60. Because I do have the entire trilogy, but it's on PS3, and at least at first I can tell you it's actually serviceable, but it's locked at 30. So I probably, considering the option exists, I was wondering if there was an alternative instead of just blindly recording without asking.
Sure, I'll take a look at this, see how it is. Yeah. Basically.
Good gun as well.
like
Yeah,
them.
I haven't actually mentioned this. As a Navi, you do actually use most of the primitive quote unquote weapons that they normally use: bow and arrow, the two blades, and the stick. The baton. But you also keep up just one, gun type of weapon. It's usually the machine gun, but the more you progress, the better it actually becomes. However, you do get ammunition for it only by killing, human enemies, obviously. So you cannot just abuse it at any encounter that you can, because the ammunition that you will get are very scarce, and you're better just by either going CQC or actually using bow and arrow.
Yep.
There we go.
Able Ryder, there is much they say you can do.
Is there a shard nearby?
A shard, yes, near the East Village. You must help. We were
Watch
attacked
as I
by
enunciate
humans.
with the movement of my arms like a puppet.
I'm sorry.
Come on. Seriously. That was
You
the
are not
pose he
too
was
late.
doing.
Go.
Even beforehand, we had the Ryder giving the thumbs up in the most awkward way possible.
This game isn't bad, but it does have its quirks here.
It's most like it mostly show its age.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
this was 2009, so
I'm
for
fine
the time
with it, honestly.
again, for the ambition that it had and for the time it was made, I'm willing to overlook that particular bit.
Of course. I'm mainly just laughing at it. Like,
Sure.
it's not even something that annoys me.
I'm just, again, considering all the circumstances, particularly also involving Ubisoft, I'm just wondering what the new game will actually look and play like. That's not even counting the fact that more recently we announced an MMO that it's developed by Tencent.
Also, I love how the music just went from 0 to 11 there.
because you have some minor encounters with the humans, so at that moment the music is programmed to actually skyrocket.
That's the music
But
for
again,
a minor
like-
encounter. Dang.
Well, in general, but like I mentioned, the best strategy for you in these late levels, if you have no quarrels with the Phidian particular group, is to get your steed and just get the fuck out.
I wonder if you actually wanted to upgrade your ride, given those bigger
No,
ones.
no, that's because they're intended to work for the multiplayer, so they use the same basic rules rather than having different one. The only difference is that sometimes you get like a different mount, like in one of the previous missions where you ride the panther like animal, while here instead you have the horse. The humans instead get all the vehicles.
I thought the bigger mounts were a bit slower than the smaller ones, and thus the trade-off was that the bigger mounts would be more powerful.
No, they mostly ride around the same time. The only major difference with this is the damage they deal due to how they look. Also, talk to the hand.
Olonowin's people are scattered. If he dies, they will never unite.
Okay, this one's voice acting is a bit off, but
I don't
okay.
know this person, this actual character is voiced by, but again, for this first part, you're basically just supposed to save the local commanders of the small, groups that are scattered throughout the area, and after that you should be able to gather the shards. I love that the vast majority of the RDA mooks are voiced by Liam O'Brien, and he's not bothering to give much of an impression. It's just simple paycheck time.
You know what Avatar film I'm actually kind of sort of looking forward to though is the third one.
Why?
Mainly because the writers of that movie co-wrote the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Huh.
And I really like those films, and they also directed Jurassic World, another film which I also really liked.
Nice.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, they also have, like any writer, they also have their not so good moments, like Mulan.
Again, we'll just have to see first how Avatar 2 turns out. As simple as that. Yes, Pedro?
I think James Cameron would write the movie himself. I mean,
I get the idea it might be. I get the idea it might be a case similar to Alita, where he writes the basics, but basically the others have to refine it and take the ultimate credit.
I mean, he is co-writing them.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Maybe I guess because remember, Avatar 2 and 3 are being filmed back to back as a really big project. So I can understand.
Remember, Disney wants to alternate with Star Wars. 1 year Christmas, the Avatar, 1 year Christmas, Star Wars. Which I do understand. Not putting them in competition with each other is a very risky and dumb idea.
Yeah. I mean I know technically Spider-Man: No Way Home isn't a Disney movie, but it is kind of sort of what happened back in this past December at the time of this recording. Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was technically made by a division of Disney, got put up against West Side Story, which was released by Disney, and Spidey completely trounced the other film.
A West Side Story was a Disney film? I did not know that.
Yes,
It was released by 20th Century.
Oh, Jesus Christ, the model. Disney just inherited it. But Spielberg was apparently good on the idea, and from what I heard, it's actually not even a bad movie at that, surprisingly enough.
Oh, another good Spielberg one. Nice.
The problem is that again, like you said, it just got trampled, So it's probably gonna be either forgotten by now, and then later on said that is a forgotten gem, kind of like, or it will just show up on Disney Plus and people will be like, cool. I hope that, again, I will have to potentially see it for myself, but gotta be honest, much like with a lot of musicals, I don't particularly care in general, so probably should ask more my sister what she thinks of it.
Now that looks off.
In general, when... Sorry, go on,
Join me in
please.
the darkness.
I mean, the most I've heard about the film is better than Dear Evan Hansen, which is another musical that also released last year.
But yes, every time you talk with someone, as you notice, that they are in the stance where they hold him a weapon, so they have to put it down to talk to you, and it's done very quickly and in a very rushed kind of way. So there is that.
In the meantime, I found something that I wasn't even aware of. Apparently, Ubisoft back in these days made not one but two Naruto games, and they were both exclusive to the Xbox 360 for some reason.
What's the name? Shonen Jump. Sorry, go on.
Naruto Rise of a Ninja and Naruto: The Broken Bond.
Shonen Jump did authorize a couple, not a humongous amount, but a sizable amount of Xbox 360 exclusive games, whenever they were exclusive for the console, or in the case of Dragon Ball Z for the Kinect.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z Connect.
The only good thing that came out with that is the Bardock Epic specially, and even that it's an insult to the original as well, so that says anything.
People have some choice things to say about that little special.
I mean, it could have been worse. So could you imagine?
Wait, I'm here, you know.
Could you imagine if they made a?
It's over, Able Ryder. I am the high ground.
Could you imagine if they made a One Piece Connect game? Like, how would you be able to do the powers?
Simple. Stretch your arms out, essentially.
You have given us hope.
Yeah. Do that, and then watch the horror on the screen as your actual arms get stretched and probably get bent out of all proportion because of the Kinect camera.
And yet, the Star Wars Kinect game is still king.
I love what they say here in the description for Rise of a Ninja. In the game, Naruto, gamers can experience Naruto starting from the series beginning. Relive Naruto's transformation from noisy ninja academy dropout to respected noisy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Naruto is very annoying in the first half.
The thing about those games, Rise of a Ninja and The Broken Bond, is that they were specifically based on the English dub of the anime.
Oh.
Joyful.
I mean, I'm not sure which one, the one that's normal or the one where they had to keep replacing dialogue with Believe It.
Dattebaio. But yeah, next shot, if I recall correctly, should be around here somewhere.
I wonder. Oh,
Go ahead.
Let me just get the other game up just to be absolutely sure. Oh yeah, the composer of those games, Einon Zur, he's mostly known for composing the music for stuff like.
I mentioned him in the past, Waves. He composed for stuff like Prince of Persia 2008.
He also did. I think he also did Digimon at some point. Yeah, he did the. Well, when I say Digimon, I mean most of that soundtrack in the dub for the first 3 seasons was reused from Saban's other stuff. But there were some unique tracks that he made. Well, he and Shuki Levy made for the show proper. And unlike other dubs of kids shows at the time, they actually used Saban, because Saban's an Israeli. They actually used their connections to Israel to have it actually done by an orchestra. In this case, an orchestra from Jerusalem.
Huh. Einon Zur might not be my favorite Western, composer from the West, but he definitely left a lot of impressions from the games that I played that he composed about. So there is that.
I mean, well, he's Israeli American, but yeah.
Non-Japanese. There you go.
Yeah.
I find it in the meantime. Guess what? As in terms of getting stuff for my Disney games run, I was testing out the PC version of Tangled, because the Tangled tie-in video game came out as a Wii exclusive back in 2010, but it got
on Steam, yes.
But it got a Steam port in 2014. And I couldn't for the life of me get the bloody PC version to work. And from what I've seen from the Steam forums, it seems like it's a common problem that the game sometimes has, where it just won't start because apparently it only works well on Windows 7.
Is it on GOG? Usually they have version with a fix already implemented.
Zer also did the music for a couple of Power Rangers seasons and the original English dub of The Vision of Escaflowne.
Yeah.
No smiles for you.
Yeah, but by that I mean the one done in Canada, not the recent Funimation one. That's like one of the only major headaches of redubs is that you have to specify which one it is if you want to talk about anything from either end.
I know Zori he's still basically composing to this very day. One of his most recent stuff that he did was Outriders, the game that made by people can fly and published by Square Enix. But he's supposedly working also for Starfield, so we'll have to see how that turns out.
I know, Zer has actually put up a lot of his music tracks on SoundCloud, including a lot of tracks from Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually the actual tracks are actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, to answer you, no. It seems like the only Disney games that GOG.com has is the Disney Games Classic Collection with Aladdin, The Lion King, and Jungle Book that came out recently, and the Hercules video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot actually there was actually a PC version of Hercules, because actually that one looks slightly better than the PS1 version.
I also have, for whatever reason, Steam and GOG also have a PC version of the Jungle Book game that we did. I wasn't even aware that there was a PC version of this.
Of course.
I mean, the game was originally made for the Mega Drive, and so
it's really weird how the licensing gets done, because again, GOG tends to have some stuff, a lot of stuff actually, that Steam actually doesn't have, because different contracts with companies are gone.
I'm wondering if it's like the Steam releases of Bubsy 1 and 2, where it's just the ROMs with an emulator.
Potentially. All right, hi Beyda'amo.
Will never return to the sky. Seek your Ikra. Return to Tahisunune.
Looks like you finally believe I can be of worth.
Your worth is in
Nothing ever pleases you, does it?
that is all.
Don't worry, he's supposedly gonna have an arc, I think, in the next part.
Kill what must be
Oh, sorry, I
killed.
should correct myself.
How do you propose we do that?
You will do
At least in the terms of the TV shows for Digimon, I got the name mixed up. It was actually Udi Harpaz who did most of the original Digimon music for the dub. Although Zer did do sort of from the Digimon movie.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? There's also a PC version of Maui Mallard.
Yeah, that's what he said. Again, GOG tends to have a lot of these. But yeah, honestly, speaking again of Ubisoft, the one licensed game that I'm curious about, which unfortunately I cannot record because it was not really released on PS3. It was released also both on Xbox 360 and PC, so a PC version might exist. Is the Peter Jackson's King Kong game, the one done by Michel Ancel's team. Because again, I've been told that one is also actually good, but I had no way to actually try it for myself. I did play the Java game version of it, which obviously is not the same thing, but I really did enjoy it. Again, for as simple as they were, I really did enjoy the Java games that I played, particularly the Ubisoft one. They seem to actually did try a bit to make them a bit engaging, and in some of them, they're also a good testament, because like the Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones version of the Java version of that game, that one uses the scrapped original plotline that the game had, as in using the fire torches to actually trigger the Dark Prince to show up, and at the end, instead of having the whole battle inside your head, it's more of a chase and more of a reminiscent thing than anything apart from a challenge, you actually have a boss fight against the Prince, the Dark Prince, and he gets impaled on a wall in classic Prince of Persia tradition, because again, if you don't remember, it's kind of a staple of a franchise ever since the classic series. So it's interesting to see the fact that some of the original concepts did not die and were existing. It exists in some capacity.
Of course.
Yeah, starting from this, the soldiers also start using their own abilities, which, as we will see in the human campaign, tend to be annoying because they can range from having a barrier of your own or regenerating health, meaning that some of the fights gets prolonged a bit.
Probably come in handy when we're playing as them. Oh wait.
Well, it's about the balance, Jova. You know, each faction skill had to be, good enough to not to be discarded immediately by the player, but at the same time, they do not have to be overpowered. Otherwise, everyone will just do that. All right, Beyda'amo, I'm back.
Protected our people. The advantage is ours. Now we must press the attack.
Forgot if I mentioned the voices. Let me see.
The gods must be pulled away before we can attack. I do not think we have the skills to do this, but there is no one else.
I'll take care of it.
Your hand just clipped through his body.
Thanks.
Hey, mate. You know, in Red Dwarf, phasing through a hologram's body is considered very rude. You know.
It's like how ghosts don't like people going through them.
Emerson Brooks. Apparently, he was supposed to voice the protagonist of Scalebound. Oof. But he's mostly a TV actor, a TV and small movies actors. Apparently, he was a small extra in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Pretty cool. Apparently, he was also in Super 8 as a bus driver, or the National Treasure Book of Secrets. Whoa.
Oh my.
Again, still fine. He's still getting work to this very day anyway. So, there's still pretty cool. All right. Next up, if I recall correctly, is to actually reach the either the last shard or the tree to be sung about. This particular level has a couple of elements, like particular canyons that have quite the leap. So if you actually jump down like I did and you want to go back, you have to actually play the long road. If you don't remember, there are systems that you can use to fast travel, using those particular mini trees that you can also use to, play the RTS game. But, they're still scattered a bit far from each other, meaning that you still have to track a bit. This is why also you're encouraged to use the mounts. But in this case, they're going just... Alright, I had to detonate these. Rig the explosives. Don't mind me, I'm just setting up your own explosive. Yeah, again, like I think I mentioned, is one of the abilities that you get is to summon a small part of the fauna of Pandora, but it's just more distraction. Even the more potent ability that you get, what is supposed to be a screen nuke, in the case of the Navi, it was like a wind kind of attack that I showcased in the previous part. It's not as effective as it makes it look to be. In the case of humans, it's obviously a bit of bombardment, and it's a bit more effective there, as I will showcase. But in the case of a Navi, you're just better just to stick with the healing and the running.
Mm-hmm. Moving along then.
Where did the fire sound effect go?
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, due to the auto-saving, sometimes some of the sound has to stop a bit and then reappear later.
I didn't know auto-saving affected the sound.
It has happened quite a lot, actually, in the past waves. Okay, not exclusively to Ubisoft games, but I do remember having this exact problem with the cutscenes of Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands HD. So, there is that.
Well, there are quite a few things I've learned. I know the part's not over yet, but there are quite a few things I've learned from this part today. One, there was a connection between Avatar and Digimon that I had absolutely no knowledge of. Apparently auto-saving can affect the sound.
Depends on what the game you're playing. I haven't encountered.
I can actually see where Tio's coming from on this point, Dwibs here. Like, To be fair, this is actually kind of an upgrade because back in the day, sometimes the game would literally need to pause in order to do automatic auto-saving. It wasn't always as noticeable, and in fact, some PS2 or, 6th-gen games in general did it better than others. But I can see why this would have been a part of it, especially in a generation as tumultuous as the 7th generation of gaming.
Again, I can't believe these runs these more decently on the Xbox 360 and potentially on the PC. All right, and the next part is the next beat is to actually fight out at the camp like Beyda'amo gently asked us.
Dumbledore calmly asked Harry, as you could see in the movie. Harry! Did you put your name in the comments?
Okay, to give him the least amount of credit, Beyda'amo is more just a condescending prick, more than just someone who shouts at you. But he still has the whole, I'm totally not trusting you, bro. Just needs to calm his underpants down.
I mean, to be fair to movie Dumbledore, something happened that clearly shouldn't have happened. Even the master wizard like Dumbledore can get flustered like that.
We also mentioned during the commentary days that it was also because we had to do that take for a long time, for a long while, and so the actor was kind of just tired at that point.
That's also the other thing that Dumbledore was kind of like that for most of the movie. I'm going to pin that down to Mike Newell, the director, because when Alfonso Cuarón and David Yates directed him, Dumbledore was not acting like that in those movies. I mean, yeah, he was a bit grumpy at times in Order of the Phoenix, but that's mainly because Umbridge was being Umbridge.
Let me put it like this. The whole Dumbledore-esque calming thing has become a meme for a reason. That's not to say
it's more like it's the traditional, separation that happens between a source material and an adaptation that feels unnecessarily jarring.
Ryder, it's Kendra. I've got some bad news for you.
If it were good news, I'd be disappointed.
Falco's given orders to destroy the willow trees once his goons gather the harmonics. If they succeed,
and it will be doom for us all.
Basically, hurry the fuck up, dipshit.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, someone made this YouTube poop called The Wrath of Dumbledore, which basically takes scenes from Goblet of Fire and plays up the calmly aspect, where Dumbledore has turned into a raging lunatic, and by the end of it, when he's trying to announce the third task, he keeps getting interrupted by applause and stuff. They just goes nuts and starts shooting up all the students.
Of course.
And it ends with him getting arrested. And
all right.
sent to Azkaban.
Now we have to place the shards before we actually destroy the place. Come on.
Step lively now.
There we go.
Lovely.
We found a tree.
Yeah, remember, each of these particular tree, when attuned with the shards, produces a piece of the song that we need in order to find the Well of Souls.
Can it at least play Walking in the Air when it's done?
Sorry, no.
You like
or at the very least, the one where it replaces the lyrics about him and the snowman fighting over a can of iron.
Sure.
Yeah, those adverts are actually officially made with Ironbrew themselves, and they're on YouTube. They're hilarious.
Alright, I'm ready to report.
Oh god, that dead-eye look in his face.
Let's get out of here. This place is gonna blow.
Also, dude, that horse seems to be a bit... Never mind.
The Banshee?
Yeah, the Banshee seemed a little, into his rear end there.
I mean, the place is a bit of a mess now, but thankfully we managed to obtain the song beforehand, so we should be good to go. Still had to report up this fucking tree.
They're the equivalent of stairs.
With the difference that you can get splinters.
Wonderful. Simply wonderful.
Our tribe gains hope. We are close to seeing the lost Well of Souls. Let us hear what Awa has shared with you.
Let's hope
All right.
we don't find it soon. This whole planet's gonna fry.
The forest will heal, and so will the hearts of the people. Now, please, the song.
Lovely.
Well, I mean, if they're all dead, then their hearts aren't going to heal.
It's more the nature kind of thing. The Navi wants to respect Pandora as a whole,
Hearts
even
of
more
the
than themselves.
It's not like Hearts of the Gods, is it?
Sure. Alright, that was, if I recall correctly, we're just missing one song.
Believe in you, yet some fear the Tortute spirit inside you.
Let me guess. Beyda'amo.
He blames you for much. He does not see you, he sees only death. Now seek Tangela. Let him guide you to your next
Yes,
journey.
one final song.
Final song remains.
So join us next time when we finally complete the quest of putting together this renowned song.
See ya.
See ya.